Survey fraud covers a range of problems, like participants submitting multiple responses to claim an incentive more than once, using fake identities to skew results, or automated scripts flooding a survey with responses. Any of these can compromise your data or waste your budget. In this video, I'll show you how to use Fingerprint to limit submissions per browser or device and block responses that show signs of automation or tampering. We'll start with the mock survey page with little restriction, then add Fingerprint to catch duplicate and automated submissions. Let's take a look at what this looks like without any protections in place. So here I've got a survey page and I'm submitting my survey and I'm good to go. Great. But this survey has an incentive for, $10. Maybe I want to submit another one. I try and submit again, but it's caught me because the email address is the same. So I try to change the email address and come in and submit again. Oh, great, works fine. I might want to submit a bunch of these survey responses. So I've got this Puppeteer script here, and I've got my survey responses set up to loop through them. I'm going to open up that same page, localhost 3000, and I'm going to run this script to just loop through and continue to submit those surveys. So in the bottom right hand, you can see my script is running and successful. The server only checks whether the submission is complete and whether the email has been used before. There's no record of which browser or device submitted that survey, so you can submit responses as many times as you want. Also, there's no protection against bots. So let's try it again now with Fingerprint. Here we see I've got the Fingerprint version in purple. I make my first submission, all good. I try and submit again. Nope, it catches me on the email, but let me change my email address. Nope, still showing me as a duplicate submission. Okay, how about if I open this in incognito mode? I'll change my email address as well, in my name too, just to be sure. Submit it again. Nope, still being blocked. Fingerprint gives the server context about the browser as well as the consistent identifier to link each submission. Once a response is recorded against that identifier, any further submissions from the same browser or device are being rejected. Additionally, we've got the bot detection, but we'll come back to that later. Okay, so let's go ahead and see how this is implemented. I'm bringing in the Fingerprint JavaScript agent using the public API key. And when we submit that button, or click that button to submit, I'm going to use the get function to get the identification information for that visitor. It's going to return to me an event ID, which I can use in my backend. So I'm going to go ahead and send the event ID along with the rest of the responses just to my backend at that API/survey. Now on the server side, I'm just going to continue to pass that whole body along to my survey handling function. And here I'm going to bring in the Fingerprint server API client using my secret API key, make sure not to expose it on the front end. And I'm going to bring out the event ID here along with that email. Now we're going to use the event ID with get event to get the full identification event. This includes things like bot detection, VPN detection, browser tampering detection, a bunch of signals, as well as context about the browser or device. So the first thing I'm going to use here is our bot detection. We don't want bots submitting a survey. So Fingerprint will return to you either good, bad, or not detected as a verdict, and I can use that to block any bots from making a submission. Also, I can use our suspect score. The suspect score is basically a number that groups together all of our smart signals, and basically the higher the number, the more anomalous or suspicious. So you can tend to block that as well. I'm also going to grab our visitor ID. This is a stable identifier that doesn't change even if IP address changes or if cookies are cleared. And I'm going to actually use our visitor ID instead of the email as a way of tracking, or alongside the email as a way of tracking, right? So when we check for duplicate submissions here, what I really want to do is use both the email and visitor ID so I can check either one of these for duplicates, making that duplication a bit stronger, right? I can also then continue to now save the information for the survey. And again, I'm going to save the visitor ID alongside that submission so I can check it against other submissions in the future. So make sure to update my query here as well to include the visitor ID. So we're going to get rid of that old query, and now we have the new query using visitor ID so that I can actually do those checks in the future against the visitor ID alongside the email. And I think that that's about it. Let me make sure and double check here at the top. Yep, we're good. So after you've passed those checks, then the survey is submitted. So now let's go ahead and refresh and reset our demo database and try it again. We're going to go ahead and submit our first survey submission here. And the first one is great, no problem. If I go ahead and try and change it up, but I keep the email address, I get blocked. But now if I change that email address and try and submit again, we can see we're still being blocked. I'm going to go ahead and open this in incognito mode. Still going to change the email that is being used here. But again, you will see once I submit this that I am still being caught as a duplicate, right? It still recognizes me, my browser. Now, if I'm going to go back to my test bot here, and I'm going to try this again. So in the bottom right, we're seeing the results. Let's see what happens this time. This time you can see that the survey is being, the submission is failing. On the left side, you can see the results here is because it's being detected as a bot, right? So without device intelligence, there's not really much standing between your survey and abuse. Fingerprint lets you enforce your rules at the browser or device level and layer in other signals to detect suspicious characteristics or automated behavior. In a real implementation, you might flag suspicious submissions for a review rather than just blocking them outright, depending on your use case. But the full tutorial and the sample application are available for you to walk through step by step, so try it out for yourself. Take care.